Hello, beautiful creatures of the world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. It's a spring-like day in the middle of December here in the far north of Maine, up along the Canadian border. I just got in from a walk. It's so green out. The wind looks worse than it is. It's actually a warmer wind in the crown of Maine. I hope everybody is having a beautiful day wherever you might be. I hope you're having a day filled with fabulosity and dang good coffee. Dang good coffee just makes my world go round. It might make your world go round too. Before we begin today's show, I want to warn everybody that we are going to be talking about the Abundant Life Christian School mass casualty event. The manifesto came out of the perpetrator, and we will be talking about the manifesto today. There will be more questions at the end of it than there are actual answers. So if today is not your kind of show, it's okay. Just click on out. I will not be upset with you at all. Just click on out. Give me a thumbs up before you go. We have over 400 videos in our channel catalog. So if you want to stick with me today, you can go watch another video. That might be something that you might want me to talk about to you today. If not, you can go watch your favorite content creators. I'm sure they have some great shows coming up. It is Christmas week, and a lot of other content creators are doing more joyful videos and not so much the true crime thing. Also, we would like the victims of this mass casualty and their families to know that our thoughts and prayers are with each and every one of you. There are a lot of young victims that are going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives. Their parents are going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives. We also have victims whose families will never be able to speak to them again, never hug them, never kiss them, never hear their voice again. It is a cruel, senseless, horrifying tragedy that will never make sense. Here on Coffee with Kerri-Lynn, we do the true crime. I do missing persons. Because when I was 17 years old, my friend was brutally murdered. Very, very violent. It's an unsolved crime. Throughout my life, I have hit milestones. And I've often thought of my childhood friend when I hit my milestone. I got married. I had children. I turned 40. I had grandchildren. Things that she will never experience, because she was taken from this world far too soon. She had a heart of gold. She was truly one of those people that when you met her, you fell in love with her. You never forgot her. And sometimes when these tragedies strike, the only thing you can do is go on in their honor. When you feel like giving up, when things are too tough, you're still here. You're still able to have a legacy. And sometimes the memories of those that are taken from us far too soon, that's the catalyst, the driver, that keeps us wanting to do amazing things in our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, I will not be saying the name of the perpetrator. The perpetrator is no longer on this earth with us. The perpetrator did leave a manifesto, but I do not want to give credence, to give credibility to that person's name. They committed a horrible, heinous, senseless act of violence. So we do not mention the names of the perpetrators on my channel. I will be referring to the perpetrator as the 15-year-old girl, the young female, the young adolescent, or she. The manifesto's title is War Against Humanity. She was in therapy. She was in therapy for, according to her manifesto, she had very abusive, nasty parents. She did not believe therapy was helping her. She did not like her therapist. She did not believe her therapist even cared about her. It is said that she's trans. She is not trans. You see, what happened is this young woman was born with a name that her parents gave her. And recently she, in her adolescence, did not like her name. So she changed her name at school to another female name. This is where the trans thing came in, and some of the internet folks kind of botched it because some people are running agendas. So she was not trans. She had a boyfriend. She knew she was a girl. He knew he was a boy. He acted like a boy. He has a boy's name. She has a boy's name. They were, in all pretense and purposes, a heterosexual couple. But you'll very shortly see where the perpetrator's confusion was at. The perpetrator says she planned to commit self-extinction, self-deletion, but felt that a shooting was, quote, better evolution rather than just one stupid self-delete. She claims that her parents did not like her. She claims that her family didn't love or want her. She refers to her family in this manifesto several times as scum. She admired and praised Turkish neo-Nazi that committed a mass casualty event earlier this year. She expressed that she procured the weapons through lies, manipulation, and the stupidity of her father. She claims in her manifesto that her parents abused drugs and alcohol and were also very mentally and verbally abusive to her. She considered herself an ultra-feminist. This is where the problem is, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful creatures of the world. She claims to be against men. She doesn't like men, but she got a boyfriend. See how the confusion in this child's mind? Why this confusion? Because children are running around on this playground called the internet unsupervised. They are listening to influencers that are more like cult leaders. They are finding the darkness on the internet, and they are latching on to this darkness, because darkness starts off as light when you're first getting into it. And most times you don't realize until you're down that rabbit hole a bit how dark your world has actually become. Children are living more on the internet, on their devices, than they are living their real lives these days. This young woman followed a radical feminist influencer. That influencer's page is now gone from the internet. This radical feminist influencer totally abhors men. It's these radical influencers that are turning our children into machines full of hate for the opposite sex. Whether it's radical feminist influencers or incel influencers, they're capturing the minds of our children. They're twisting and they're warping the minds of our children because parents don't know what's going on their children's phones. A lot of parents are oblivious. A lot of parents these days, not my kids didn't have this luxury. I'm a Gen X mom. My kids were raised right. They're millennials and they're all in their mid to early 30s. My kids did not rule the roost. I was the boss. I was the authority. I was up their business every which way to Sunday. There was nothing they could hide from me because everything was in the open. Our computer was in the living room, and when they all became teenagers, it used to rattle them. They all became teenagers and they were playing World of Warcraft, and all the multiplayer games started coming into the online sphere, and they could not have headphones. They had to listen to the game through the speakers, even though it interfered with my television program. And they could talk on. That was literally a test of the emergency broadcast system that interrupted us. Where was I? They could talk on a dedicated microphone. But my computer was not in a private room, and there was no use of headsets because I wanted to hear everything that was being said. Our children were the first generation introduced to Facebook. You had to have an EDU to be on Facebook. Our kids were in high school. They had EDUs after their email address. We did not. So while they were on the internet, it was right over their shoulders. I had to have every single password. And I went into their Facebook accounts. I went into their chat accounts. Remember, my kids are millennials. They grew up under stranger danger. And this internet was very difficult for we, the parents, in my group, to fathom. Our kids were communicating with people that claimed to be halfway around the world. That claimed to be one thing but could be something else. We didn't know. It was a very scary time. So we as parents were extremely vigilant. Our children didn't have devices. We tried that once. Didn't work out so well. The oldest had their own device. A mistake was made. The device, which was in my name, because they were a minor, was taken away. And no other children ever got a device out of me. I didn't change so well with the times, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful creatures of the world. I didn't helicopter my children. We let our children make mistakes. We let them try to rectify those mistakes, but if we saw them digging themselves into more of a mess, we stepped in and showed them how to navigate life. The problem with parents today is the children are the boss at the house. The children have their own devices. The children don't give their passwords up to moms and dads anymore. The children are being radicalized on the internet. As a parent, you need to know what your kids are doing on this damn internet. The dark places on the internet, moms and dads, they're real dark. They're places you wouldn't even want to go. And your kids are accessing this. Your kids and their friends. And they could actually just access it by mistake. They're latching on to TikTokers, to influencers that have been in prison. Come out of prison, have a TV show, and now it's coming out that these influencers that are stepping out of prison onto the television set, onto Lifetime, are just as whacked as when they committed their crime of extinction of another person. They were the mastermind. Some of you know I'm talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. These are the people shaping your children's lives. We had it hard enough raising kids with the Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie. Everybody was in jail and it was a badge of honor. That was the beginning of this crap. Now, children are actually admiring women that took the life of their mother, went to prison, do not identify as a life taker now that they're out, got the TV show, got the books. And your kids are looking up to this person who came out of prison as a married woman, left the husband, had an affair with the ex-fiance, got herself knocked up, and you know nothing about it. They're normalizing this shite on the internet. Your kids are not thinking for themselves. You need to teach your children to think for themselves, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. You are the head of the household. You are the authority. Your rules is what goes. Kids don't run the show. A lot of parents let their kids run the show. But kids don't run the show, and they shouldn't be running the show. Their minds are not developed enough. They cannot discern good from bad. They're being radicalized. And the only way to stop it is to get your kids off the internet completely. Make them live a real life with real friends. They can go to their friend's house, they can visit, they can go to the movies, they can have a good time. Not this. The thumbs and the fingers and the keyboards. No, it's not life. The kids are not all right, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas. And grandmas and grandpas, you're at fault too. You're watching your children allow their children to do this. Stand up and say something. Tell your kids it's not right. Who cares if kids are in their 30s and 40s? It's not right. I tell my kids all the time, what you did is not right. I don't care. I don't care how the hell old you are. If you do something ridiculous, I'm going to let you know about it. So grandmas and grandpas are also at fault. Our children are our legacy. And we're letting them rot their brains. We're letting them get filled with negativity, with hatred. We're letting strangers turn our children into unempathetic, unsympathetic, unkind beings. And most of the moms and dads don't even realize it. Pay attention to your children. Pay attention to what they're doing on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, be the kindness that you want to see in the world. Be the authority in your children's life. They need that. They need structure. They need discipline. They need an adult in their life to look up to. And that adult needs to be you. Carpe Diem. Because no one promised you a tomorrow.